Welcome to The Lift. Today we're continuing our series on Rooted, and we're wrapping up James chapter 5. Today I want to talk to you about where a lot of our power can come from and how we can really understand what God wants for us, and we can let God know the things that are on our heart. We talked about it a little bit during our series Strength for the Journey, but today I'd like to talk to you about prayer. You see, a lot of times we think that prayer is one of those things that we do right before a meal or right before we go to sleep, but prayer can be extremely powerful, and it's only recently that I've really discovered it. You see, prayer is something that really can move us to understand where God wants us and move Him to show us more and more of what He wants from our lives. Prayer is powerful, and in James chapter 5, he explains it all. He says, "Are any of you suffering? You should pray. Are any of you happy? You should sing praises." And when we sing to God, it's just like we're praying to Him, just in a different way. He says, "Are any of you sick? You should get people together to pray over you so that you can be healed, and it will happen." And he says, are any of you struggling with sin? Well, talk about that with someone else and pray together about it, and you again will be healed. Prayer is a powerful, powerful thing. And I don't know if you've ever seen prayer work in your life, but I have seen it work in mine. Here's how I've decided that I need to pray. Whatever pops into my mind to pray about, I'll pray about it right then. And that way it's not, I'll pray about it sometime in the future and I hope I don't forget, but I'll pray about it right then. And let me tell you about a time that prayer worked in my life and God really showed up because I believe of these prayers. Recently at work, I had a coworker whose grandmother was suffering with a severe illness, and it didn't look like she was going to make it. Now, when I prayed a lot for this coworker and her family and her grandmother, and anytime I would pray, I would say, "God, just step into this situation and help them to see that you are in it no matter what happens." And so that was my prayer. My prayer wasn't, "God, do whatever they want you to do," and "God, just listen to me and let me tell you how it is," but "God, whatever it is that you want out of this situation, God, I just pray that this family will see that you are good and that they will understand that you are right there amidst all of this terrible situation." Now, as I would listen to different sermons, I would hear different things that I wanted to send to this coworker. And so her grandmother was still suffering, but I would send little text messages every once in a while that would just be encouragements. Now think about this. I asked God to step into that situation, and I asked Him to encourage their family. And then He sent me little messages to pass along to them. Isn't that how God can answer our prayers sometimes? Because sometimes He'll answer your prayer by saying, "Okay, go do it." So I would listen to these sermons and I would send her these little anecdotes, and her grandmother passed away. But we talked about it and she said, "But I understand that God is still good." Now think about that. Think about the situation and how prayer moved it. It didn't maybe get the outcome that they wanted, but they understand that God is still good. They understand that He is still there even though this situation is falling apart. And that's how prayer can be so powerful, and that's how God can answer whatever it is that we ask Him. So I encourage you, don't think of prayer as a worthless thing. Think of prayer as very powerful. If you are sad, pray. If you are happy, pray. If you need help, pray. If you're struggling with sin, talk to somebody and have them pray and you pray. If you're sick, pray. God will step into your situation, and when you pray, don't say, "God, this is what I think you should do," but say, "God, just help me to see you in this situation and help me do whatever it is you want me to do." And when you pray that way, you'll understand that prayer is powerful. When you understand that prayer is powerful, then you can understand that your roots are growing deeper and you are finding out more and more of what life is really all about. This is The Lift.